Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Castlevania Lord of Shadows Mirror of Fate. So we just beat the first boss, and I guess this will be the bestiary for the first boss. So we can immediately go and see the first boss after we beat him. Apparently has a weakness to axe attacks. But I threw a bunch of axes at him and it didn't really do anything. That being said, he got transformed into a bigger boss that we'll, I imagine, deal with later. I guess I don't really need to refill my energy right now, and unless I was going to go back this direction and try and fight the guy again, I guess I can only go forward towards deeper into the castle. Part of, well, actually there might have been something further to the right. Oh well. Part of my slight concern here is that I fought that boss and it took a lot of effort. I died a lot of times, and what am I supposed to be doing? I think what I was supposed to have done there is fought these guys, maybe fought all of them off, and then see if maybe there's enough time to do all of this. Like, there's no way to right trigger out of this. It says hold left stick, turn off the mini map. I'm just gonna tap the A button really fast. Well, see, now it doesn't seem like anything is spawning, so I'm left confused on that one. So yeah, the boss fights I'm concerned about, because my fear is that this is going to be a case of a game where every single boss fight is going to be this cheesed out experience. Would a shield protect me? We have like a whole collection of stuff. Alright, so a shield does protect me, but they took a significant amount of my magic there. They told us to carry these magical scrolls with us at all times and to never part with them. It seemed that they're to reflect our thoughts onto the very paper itself. Okay, that explains how they get written. I was wondering about that. If we die, they enable other brothers to learn from our mistakes so that they may complete their mission successfully. So, new level, skill up. Yeah, and just running through one of those red lasers is half your life. Interesting. And even if you have the mini-map on, the new icon doesn't do anything. So now if I do this, I can do that attack, for what little that's worth. This weird ghost is helping me. I imagine, yeah, I didn't need to refill my health. I imagine it is, well, it's not even doing anything. I imagine this is either Dracula toying with me or something else. And you just kind of don't... Yeah, it feels weird. Rotate the left stick. This is not an action that is recommended these days in video games because it causes blisters on your fingers. And literally nothing happened. So that was pointless. I could have just hit right trigger. We've got some grotesque faces in the background. But we're still fighting a lot of zombies. But apparently now we've got zombies that and I can't be in the air and grab apparently. So I probably don't want to get grabbed and have to do a stomping attack. I probably am more in the case of, let's see, I don't even know if it's worth it to place these markers. View, place, A, then B. It's a lot of buttons. Clearly these would have been things that would have been way easier to do on the DS. And inherently this is the problem with Nintendo in the past decade, in a nutshell, is Nintendo has done nothing but add second screen concepts and other gimmick like concepts to their gameplay in a way that makes it, can't jump over either, makes it very difficult to port any of the games over. And for the 3DS and those games, even if you are ported over, it kind of doesn't matter because the lower graphics quality is so out of line of what an Xbox, a modern Xbox and a modern PlayStation is doing. You end up with a completely different game anyways. And even now with the Switch, that still is sort of the case. You have the Joy-Cons that have waggle ability that a PlayStation and Xbox controller really can't have, and you have the lower graphics of the Switch compared to a PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4, I guess, right now, and the Xbox One Pro. Crossing the bridge, we were careful not to trip over the piles of bones stacked up on the ground when suddenly one of our men shouted out in pain. His chest had been pierced by the rusted sword of a skeleton. In a heartbeat, the dead rose up around us, forming an army of fearsome, fleshless corpses. This feels really generic. It feels like we're getting most of our expertise from, most of our experience from finding these notes instead of from finding, fighting enemies. So I guess maybe we'll get slightly better skeletons. We now have the oil flask. Press B to throw it. Press and hold B to release it from a devastating attack. To remember, you can cycle through your secondary weapon with the right stick. So, these guys don't feel like they're doing much. Like, it seems like my whip can destroy them just fine. Also seems like my whip gets longer in the combo than it was before, so it increases its area of attack. So while I would have thought this would have been a case of pressing X to do fast forward attacks, it's actually more of a case of pressing Y to do far reaching. I nearly died there. I think the axe is better though, in all honesty. And we're not unlocking anything here, and we're at level 5 of 18, so unless we go through one act and finish the story with this character and then play with a completely different character with completely different enemies and abilities, this is just going to be a short experience. And I kind of get the feeling it's going to be a short experience. And I did not refill health by just leaving one area and starting in the other. Might want to switch back to axe. I'm gonna have to compare the two. Alright, and I'll turn off the shield for a moment, but I'm just gonna die and inevitably have to reset myself. So I'm just climbing off the edge over with the wonky climbing features. What was with that camera? That was weird. That camera just flew everywhere. It flew all over the map. We need to get that golden... we need to get the cross. It seems like the axe is better still. So then becomes very questionable why they would give us the weaker weapon second. Another scroll. Far too many of these. According to legend, Michael Gallery Snyder, a most noble knight and highly skilled archer, was captured by the Burn Hands and imprisoned somewhere in this castle. He died but vowed vengeance on the castle and its occupants. It said his spirits will come to the aid of a true warrior. I have not seen it. Like, that's the exact bit of information you would want to have. And this is weird. Oh, there's a path this direction. And something grabbed me. Okay. So we've learned that there's a new thing to deal with. Feels like you're pushing a lot of buttons here for kind of no good reasons. To put it kind of plainly. A lot of switching on your shield, off your shield. A lot of tapping A. A lot of right trigger to activate something, to grab a sliding object, and right trigger again to let go of it. A lot of press here and bring back the menu, which again, I feel like the double screen of the DS has ruined the way this game is being depicted now. Apparently we have updated informations on the weakness. So, okay, if we get more bestiaries, we would know what does more kind of damage. But we're also getting different icons. So, seems like everything hurts the undead, but axes do twice as much damage as what the oil does to the Night Watchman. Let's see. And something I did when I leveled up made it so that I could refill my energy and health, my magic and health. I'm wondering if maybe this guy will be some kind of trader or transition point to a different time period or fate, if it's the mirror of fate concept. Alright, so we're gonna have to, I'm gonna right trigger this, and then it's probably gonna want me to tap A. I guess not. So is this the direction I'm supposed to go? Seems like it. So let's go check out this direction and hopefully be a little careful not to accidentally end up. There's all these barrels in the background that looks like something. Let's get out of this so we don't drown immediately. Well, then that, I think, probably flooded the skeleton that was over here. Yeah, that skeleton is just gone. Interesting. I don't have a considerable amount of oxygen, but it seems like there's enough to do all the things you would expect you could do. So the water here is acting as a system to make it easier if I fall, which I guess is something I appreciate. But yeah, we are just raising the water levels. It feels inaccurate, scientifically speaking, at least, that the caves would immediately fill 100% with water. Feels like you could build up the pressure of the oxygen and the air in those gaps, if they are solid rock and airtight, I guess. I will die in this cell tonight. I will end my life with one final act of cowardice. With great shame in my heart I shall take my own life. I refuse to watch the beast remove the flesh from my bones. I will deny them my screams. Okay. So I think I have to move one more switch somewhere. There's a floatiness certainly with your ability to jump in all of this too. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's anywhere else I can go at the moment. So you jump up here, and then you just hold A and float up to this. And then we can just walk down and fall to this rope. What happens to these barrels when the water comes up? If there was a alternate universe, the barrels don't float at all. Interesting. If there was an alternate universe to this, and oops, that did a lot of damage to me. And there was several different reasons why you would want to come around to these different areas. That might be a cool thing. Now the barrels happen and all the water floods out and floods the outside area that we haven't even seen. That's bad foreshadowing, in my opinion. Like, we should have been able to see that area and see that it was inaccessible. Seems like there's a collectible we missed. Some kind of secret. I don't even know if it's worth going back. Why are we back This map is getting pretty filled up. I would expect we'd eventually transition to a whole new area outside of the castle, but I don't know if I fully believe that's gonna happen either. And it would be way easier to get that secret when we can swing on things, because I imagine we can swing on nearly every climb point. So until we can get that cross, we're just gonna mark that, I guess. And until we can get the cross and figure out a way to, I imagine what it is dash through things. We're limited in our transversal. This feels like we're gonna fight an enemy, a butcher enemy. So I really shouldn't break these barrels. Should just leave them. I don't know if the Castlevania series is a series where barrels and things like that don't refill when you leave an area, and you should minimalistically use them and save them for later. A lot of times you end up saving 100 health potions in some games, and then you're at the end of the game and you've got no use for those health potions at all. You should have been using them the whole time. But sometimes it's extremely limited. Alright, so up we go in the elevators. A lot of transition points here that imply to me that the Nintendo DS does not have a lot of RAM. Because if it did, you wouldn't need to transition so often. Wasn't expecting that. Whatever that is. I was thinking a giant butcher character, not little goblin characters. Alright, let's throw one of those, turn on our shield, throw one of those, and this guy's throwing oil. Is that it? Alright, so I want to get good at dodging. And I think that's what this is all about, is the idea that you would dodge. Another question to ask, I suppose, would be, am I gaining more experience when I have my shield on because I'm not gaining magic, or am I just gaining the same amount of experience regardless? And there was a couple of ammunition things on the other side of this wall that are now missing. So 3 balls of experience came off of them. It seems both when we have the shield on and when we don't, so they're kind of fine to have the shield on whenever you want it. Kind of bouncing around this map all over the place. Man, if you're gonna HDify this game, you definitely needed to put audio recordings to replace all of this. Just hire a voice actor to voice all of this and make bigger cutscenes. And it's probably not worth the money to do that, but it would definitely change the experience here instead of just reading. Let's see. Waking in the dark, I found a plate of roast meat and a glass of spiced wine beside me. I prayed that my brothers would rescue me soon. Ravaged by hunger, I grabbed a juicy leg, took a bite, chewed, and swallowed hard. I hadn't taken more than 2 bites when I discovered to my horror that the bone holding the meat was a human femur. So yeah. Where are we on the map? It seems like there's an exit and then there's an objective guide. Okay. So this is where we were before. And is this door still locked? Yeah. So all of these are now unlocked, where I think they were locked before. So let's go over here. Run this. And this opens a gate. And there's a bit of a load here too. Like, I have an SSD. There's no reason why there should be much of a load at all. Hey, apparently I can hold 6 axes now, also? When did that happen? Alright, so we've moved and found a new connection. And, let's see. There is a secret over here, but I don't think we can get to it yet. It still feels like there's some kind of turn to mist and walk through walls ability we're going to unlock. This is another great example of it not really being as HD or as remastered. HD doesn't mean much of anything. It should have been more remastered the game. Apparently you can't jump up on that side. It's blocked off. That's not visually explained very well. We have a lot of brown palette in this scene. If you take a moment to look, it's like all the background is grayish stone. Almost all the foreground is a dark brownish wood or more grayish stone. Nothing here brightly colored, whereas a barrier could certainly be colored in a way to look very solid and very obvious. Also have an issue where it looks like you could go down these doors in these hallways, but you can't, which that's a little frustrating. And we're making it into the theater, which I suspect is probably a pretty big place. Maybe we're running into the second boss. And let's see, 6 of 18. That would be 1/3 of the game right there, if that's all there is to it. Let's see. What does this mean though? An axe will kill a flying scaven, is what they're calling them. It will give it death with an axe and physical damage with the oil. Is that what we're supposed to be taking from that? We can't go that way, and there's another hallway we can't walk down. This is, I guess, a bit of a problem of a 2.5D game, because you will run into this issue. Yeah, see, we're about to just walk into a boss fight, and so we've been going 30 minutes. So let's just end right now. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.